I'm here in the home of Douglas Slocombe, who shot many, many films over the years, from Raiders of the Lost Ark, Close Encounters, The Man in the White Suit. We're here talking about the Titfield Thunderbolt, a film that he made with Charles Crichton for Ealing Studios in 1953.
When Charles Crichton and I went down to do reconnaissance, I sort of grabbed my home movie camera, a 16mm Bell & Howell, I remember, and so just took some shots while I was at it, just to remind us of what the place would look like. An old-fashioned little railway line with a single track railway and one of the old steam engines, rather small thing. In some ways, the last reminders of the type of railway system and also life in the countryside that existed in that period, as I say, in the 1950s. The thing that we were searching for was not only a suitable line that would be available to us, but also a railway station that we could use. And we did, in fact, find there a disused railway station, which eventually we had to sort of do things to. The little movie I took was a sort of fun movie in a way, because I remember Charles Crichton, the director, he always liked to gag a bit. And on one occasion, he was suddenly conscious of the fact that I was shooting him, and I remember starts to walk backwards. So that sort of thing. But anyway, the movie just gives an idea of some of the things that happened. And there were one or two shots, I remember, yes, showing us at work with the camera, the Technicolor camera, and the old Titfield Thunderbolt train.
Now, you shot Ealing's first Technicolor film, Saraband for Dead Lovers, which I know you had, like everybody who worked with Technicolor in those days, you had to run the gauntlet of the Technicolor people. Had they become any more relaxed by the time you were working on the Titfield Thunderbolt, or were they always on your backs about how to use this process?
Having had the experience of the Technicolor hierarchy, shall we say, Natalie Kalmus, I remember, who was the wife of the original inventor, and a few other people, they were always insisting that one should light without any contrast, things of that sort, which I patently ignored, I should say. But in the old days, one sort of had to fight one's corner, whereas by now, I don't think they had any interest in this particular film, and I don't think that they came on any other occasions or anything like that. So by that time, I think I was more relaxed, and I think they were too, or perhaps they'd given up the type of supervision that they had originally instituted.
Watching the Titfield Thunderbolt, it looks like it was filmed under very idyllic conditions. There you are, you're out in the countryside near the city of Bath. What do you recall of the filming?
At that period, I think we were lucky enough to have a hot summer, and one of the things one felt about the film, it was after all, it was a fun film in many ways. It was an idealized situation, having a privately run railway, and we wanted to show the sort of Gainsborough type of English countryside, peaceful and rather pretty, very green.
Did you feel that you were filming a sort of disappearing England?
One couldn't help feeling that this was a bit of old England that was going forever. Bearing in mind, though, that this film was made just after the war, and I think that it was the beginning of the new era, where one felt that the world was changing, and that the old-fashioned England was also changing, and a lot of the gentle ways that we got used to were about to disappear. But at the same time, one felt that maybe a new atmosphere would prevail, younger, fresher, more excitable. So one had mixed feelings, I think, at the time. But I was very conscious, nevertheless, of the beauty of the English countryside again in this. One was amused at the old-fashioned ways and the old-fashioned concepts of so many things.
What do you remember about that extraordinary sequence where the engine is brought through the streets of the village where the action is set?
We chose Woodstock, close to Blenheim, as a suitable background for the scene in which the locomotive goes wild, runs off the tracks, and then goes through the town. And as it turns out, I decided to shoot that day for night. And doing that day for night meant that, because everything, the sun is representing the moonlight, so therefore any artificial lights or artificial effects would have to surmount, it needs to come up to that intensity. And in this mock locomotive, which was a studio-made affair with a conventional lorry engine, I wanted to give the effect of naturally the smoke coming out, but also I wanted to give the feeling of the hot, glowing fire inside the engine, and for that had huge red flares put in the engine area, and also smoke pots to give the white smoke. But so when we actually shot the thing, it looked quite effective. The red glow coming from the fireworks. But what I had forgotten is that not only was there intense heat, but that itself created a lot of smoke too. So when we shot the scene, the two poor artists in there staggered out in the end, absolutely blackened by the smoke, and also in a terrible state, hardly being able to breathe, the intensity of the gases that they evoked. But however, nevertheless, the scene seemed to work, and it's in the picture.
I suppose by this point too, there's almost an Ealing rep company, isn't there, for a film like this? Stanley Holloway, Naunton Wayne. Yeah. You were quite a gang really by this point, weren't you?
Yes, Ealing Studios were always very faithful to a number of stars, but they kept using over and over again. And Stanley Holloway, Naunton Wayne, people like that, George Ralph, but they use these people over and over again, and they sort of, there was something rather comforting, I think, in seeing these familiar faces. I think that was one of the secrets taken from some of the American studios that had they're always the same people that you saw over and over again for the secondary parts.
This was something that was going on behind the camera as well as in front of it, wasn't it? Of which you were a very important part. I mean, did you feel like you were a team? It was always said to be the studio with the team spirit. Is that how it felt to be in it?
Yes, it was. Yes. Well, as it turns out, the officers, all the directors became great friends of mine for a long time, and because most of them are dead now, unfortunately, and generally. The art directors, writers, we all so knew each other and were very relaxed with each other. And then there was a lot of cross information very often, but would help other parts of the studio system. One director, for instance, actually would very often help another one out. So the team spirit that Michael Borken talked about was very definitely there.